Senator Rick Scott, thank you very much for being today on Florida News. Senator, we would like to start this interview with a very short clip from the Cuban authorities, from the Cuban regime, and we would like to know your reaction. Please roll this short clip.
If the homeland is attacked, we will respond in self-defense. And if they try to enter, let there be no doubt. There will be a determined and firm fight, and our confidence in victory will not be any less. No adversary, no matter how powerful, is invincible. Yes, and Cuba's not to be touched.
Well, first off, they're the ones that have been the aggressor. They're the ones that fermented socialism and unrest in Venezuela, Nicaragua, in America, in America Latina. And their military was so strong that it took 7 minutes to arrest Maduro, and he was completely defended by the Cuban military. So I don't think they're much of a threat to the United States.
Senator, you have said that Cuban regime is financially fragile and that the U.S. should expand pressure beyond oil. What is the end game? Democratic transition? Is a regime collapse? Is a negotiated reform? Or something else?
Well, you want the opposite of this, okay? This is the picture of a political prisoner, Alexander Diaz-Rodriguez. You want the opposite of this. You want people that don't end up in prison because they don't like socialism. They don't end up in prison because they complain about not having electricity. So what you want is, you want a regime there that cares about their people, that believes in democracy, that wants to have a relationship with the United States. Think of how many successful Cubans are in Miami, as an example. Think about what they could do if you had a free market, you had liberty and democracy and rule of law in Cuba. It's a beautiful island. I was there when I was in the Navy in Guantanamo Bay, and so that's what I'd like. So I think it's going to happen. I appreciate what the Trump administration has done. I look forward to the day that Diaz-Canel and Raul Castro and his family are all standing trial for the atrocities against Americans.
Senator, Cuba is facing severe shortages, you just mentioned, blackouts, decline in tourism, food insecurity, and a humanitarian absolute crisis. How do you balance maximum pressure on the regime with the risk of worsening daily life for ordinary Cubans?
Well, appeasement has never worked. You look at what Biden's done and what Obama did. Going to play baseball with Raul Castro didn't make it better for the Cuban people. So what you've got to do is you've got to do everything you can to make sure the regime doesn't have money. It's not about, let the people of Cuba flourish. But guess what? Raul Castro's got plenty of money. He's living in opulence. He lives probably better than most kings live. His family lives that way. And he doesn't spend any of the money that he makes on the people of Cuba. The reason they don't have oil is they have no money. If they had money, they'd have oil. But the regime has destroyed the entire economy.
Senator Scott, you have accused Cuban medical missions and Gaesa of financing the regime. What specific sanctions or secondary penalties should the U.S. impose on countries or companies still doing businesses with those structures?
Well, what they're doing is called human trafficking. And the Pan American Health Organization is helping them. So what they do is they send doctors around the world. They pay the doctors a pittance. The doctors have no rights. And then they take all the money that's given and it's support the life of Raul Castro and his family. It's not to support the people of Cuba. It's to support Raul Castro's living in absolute opulence. He lives like it's like he lives in castles. But the people of Cuba don't. So anybody that does business with them should be sanctioned. This is despicable. It's called human trafficking.
Senator Scott, Defense Secretary Hexed recently warned Cuba against acquiring weapons capable of threatening the U.S. or Guantanamo. Do you believe Cuba currently represents a direct military threat or mainly an intelligence and regional security threat?
Well, as you know, their friends are Communist China, who just killed our kids with fentanyl, building military to try to defeat us, Russia, Iran, Hezbollah. So that's who their friends are. And so we've got to make sure we protect Americans. They're only 90 miles from our coast. So I think we have to be ready. We've got Homestead Air Force Base. Sorry, we've got Homestead Air Force Base that's prepared. So we have to be prepared for whatever they're going to do.
Last question before we jump to another topic, sensitive topic in the region, which is Colombia. Senator Scott, Human Rights Watch and other groups continue to report political prisoners, as you just mentioned, shown in the picture, and repression in Cuba. What concrete conditions should Havana meet before any U.S. administration considers easing sanctions or reopening diplomatic space?
It's real simple. Number one, release all the political prisoners. Number two, stop all the oppression. Number three, call for free and fair elections. That's the only three things they have to do.
Let's go now to another sensitive region for the United States, of course, Colombia. We have upcoming elections. We have the topic of democracy and, of course, the U.S. relations. I want to show you a very short clip of President Petro, and we'd like to know your reaction.
And I have to say that I don't understand Donald Trump or Mr. Rubio. They need to define themselves. Either we fight against drug trafficking, or you are going to bring drug trafficking to the White House. They can put me on the OFAC list 10,000 times, and if they want to arrest me, go ahead and try.
But today I have the President of the United States explicitly supporting a candidate, breaking his constitution.
I think Petro has been despicable for the people of Colombia. He was, as you know, he was part of a terrorist organization in his past. He's allowed drugs to get bigger, the drug trafficking get bigger in Colombia while he's been there. His friends are people like Maduro and Diaz-Canel and Raul Castro. His friends are not the people of Colombia. So, I'm very hopeful that Espriella wins the election so we can go back to having a great relationship with Colombia, which we have had in the past. But this is about, for the people of Colombia, what type of future do you want? Do you want to go down the path of Venezuela and Cuba? Or do you want to go down the path of freedom and opportunity like we have in America?
Senator Scott, you recently asked Secretary Rubio what the State Department is doing to support Colombia's electoral integrity. What worries you the most right now? Is potential fraud, armed group intimidation, political violence, or foreign influence?
Well, it's the violence that intimidates people to not vote. Thank God for people that came out to vote in the primary. But what you worry about is there's enough violence that people don't come out and vote. That's exactly how you lose democracy. People scare people from voting, and the radicals on the left take charge. So that's why I worry about Colombia. It's a clear choice. Do you want to go down the land of opportunity with the Espriella, or do you want to go down the land of socialism, like with Cepeda?
Senator, Colombia is heading, as we just mentioned, on June 21st runoff between Iván Cepeda and Abelardo del Espriella. How should Washington work with either winner while protecting U.S. priorities on security, democracy, migration, and, of course, counter narcotics?
Well, we should work with who gets elected if they want to work with us. But if working with us is saying, hey, America, give us a whole bunch of money, but we're going to send more drugs into your country, and we're not going to do that. Or if you want to say, oh, give us your money, but we're going to become bigger friends with communist China or Russia or Cuba or Venezuela or Nicaragua, then we're not going to do that. So if whoever gets elected needs to say they want to have a positive relationship with the United States, but we're not just going to be suckers and send our money and help Colombia for that money to be wasted and be harmful to the people of Colombia.
Del Espriella has denounced illegal voter coercion in areas with illegal armed group presence, while Cepeda says he will accept the result but reserves the right to peaceful protest. What role, Senator, should the U.S. play without appearing to interfere in Colombia's sovereignty?
I think we ought to be clear, what the candidates stand for and what we believe in. On top of that, the international community should do whatever it can to make sure the election's free and there's no violence and there's no intimidation against voters.
Senator, if Iván Cepeda wins and continues Petro's peace talk approach with armed groups, would you support continued U.S. security cooperation, or should aid be conditioned on measurable results against narco trafficking and criminal organizations?
Well, any dollar should have a return. And so if you can't see that there's a result, we shouldn't be spending the money. This is, we're taxing the citizens of this country to help people in another country, which I'm fine with as long as we're getting a return.
Last question, Senator Scott, and we really appreciate your time. If Abelardo del Espriella wins with a hardline security and pro-business agenda, what would you expect from him regarding topics like extradition, Venezuela, China, Cuba, and the future of Colombia as a strategic U.S. ally?
Well, what you hope is that he would be a great ally, and Colombia will continue its trade with the United States, in cooperation with the United States. And for the people of Colombia, it's going to, hopefully give them great opportunities to improve the lives of their families. I mean, free markets work. Free markets give your family the opportunity. If you want to work your butt off, you can do anything you want for your family. You can give them better health care, you can give them better housing, better education. Socialism does just the opposite. If we go down the path of Cepeda, there'll be fewer opportunities, worse education, worse environment, and your rights will go away.
Senator Rick Scott, thank you very much for this interview with Florida News. We really appreciate it.
All right, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.